So I appreciate you taking the time to answer a few of our questions today. Let's begin with a brief introduction of yourself, your role, and your company.
Okay, my name's Kurt Budge. I'm the Chief Executive of Leading Edge Materials. I joined the company in May this year. Leading Edge is a Canadian listed and Swedish listed company. We have projects in Sweden and Romania. The portfolio is all critical raw materials, all located in the EU. So we have, in Sweden, we have rare earths projects, heavy rare earths, but also natural flake graphite. And then Romania, we have cobalt nickel exploration and polymetallic exploration.
As a participant in the Nordic Funds Mines conference, what are your key objectives for attending? And how do you hope this event will contribute to your company's goals in the current mining landscape?
Really, I'm here to learn from the investors and what their particular interests are, and also to educate the investor community on what progress we're looking to make. It's a really exciting time for us. There's a lot happening in terms of policy making in Europe. The politics in Sweden specifically are very good for us at the moment, and we've got an exciting portfolio of projects that I just want to educate people about.
You mentioned ESG a little bit. With regards to ESG, with the growing focus on ESG in the mining industry as a whole, how are you leveraging this conference to showcase your company's initiatives to the Nordic investment community, or also within North America as well, and throughout the EU, known for its strong emphasis with regards to responsible investing?
Well, we as a company, like all mining companies these days, you wouldn't be in business if you didn't have ESG as one of your priorities. I think operating in a country like Sweden, Sweden has the highest environmental standards, and that's a great thing, because we want to be able to conduct our operations in an environmentally with minimum impact, in a safe manner, and engage with stakeholders in the community and broader society to explain what it is that we're doing. I think the mining industry for far too long has perceived as being something quite badness to some degree. We're a business, and we want to run our business in the most responsible way. And Leading Edge, I believe that demonstrating the highest standards of ESG to your potential customers is one way of keeping their business, and we're very focused on that.
With regards to your Norra project in Sweden, it appears to be one of the world's most significant heavy rare earth element deposits outside of China. Can you provide any updates on this exciting development?
Yeah, so earlier this year we had the introduction of the Critical Raw Materials Act in Europe. That's really a game changer for project development in this part of the world, specific to a project like Norra Kärr, which has been 15 years in development. The body of technical work that's been done on Norra Kärr is incredibly substantial. The rare earths kit part of the project was studied to pre-feasibility in 2015. The project itself had a mining lease in 2013. Because of twists and turns in Swedish permitting, that mining lease was reverted to an application. But the project we have now in 2021 was completely redesigned. So at the mine site, we have effectively a quarry. Instead of producing just aggregates for construction, we're producing a heavy rare earth concentrate and an industrial mineral nepheline cyanide. So from an environmental impact standpoint, we've reduced the environmental impact of the operation and increased the sustainability by producing other products. So very excited about the introduction of Critical Raw Materials Act. We've submitted the application last month for strategic project status, and we're submitting a new mining lease application by the end of the year.
You touched on it a little bit, but your company has been emphasizing the strategic importance of securing European energy chains for critical raw materials, with the EU's focus on reducing the dependence on our adversaries with regards to imported critical minerals. How do you see your projects fitting this narrative?
Well, the EU doesn't produce any heavy rare earths, and the conversation about our over-reliance on China for supply has been taking place for more than a decade, and Norra Kärr as a project that would make a significant contribution has been part of that discussion. So if you look at the different studies by different bodies, it's referenced all the time. I think I found one that actually said, if Europe sorted its act out with regards to permitting and access to capital, then Norra Kärr should have been in production in 2020. So the Critical Raw Materials Act and our application for strategic project status, if we're successful, then that will put a definitive timeline on permitting, 27 months for an extraction project. The EU is suggesting that they will assist with access to capital and then also be facilitation of offtake agreements. So, these enabling mechanisms are aspects that are included in other jurisdictions around the world which we're trying to compete with or reduce our over-dependency on. So it's a huge change that's taken place this year, and we just need to see the real action that follows.
Leading Edge Materials has maintained a relatively strong and robust balance sheet while also advancing on multiple projects. As you move towards these more advanced studies for potential developments at these projects, what is your strategy for funding these activities?
Well, we've been benefited by the fact that we have a cornerstone shareholder, Eric Kraft, who's been investing in the company for 8 years. He owns 38% of the company, and he's the first name on any book build that we do. Most of the financings are non-brokered private placements. I believe that the portfolio going forward, and especially some of the things that we've touched on, the strategic project status, if we're successful, this will raise the profile of the project, which means that we will be able to access capital from a more diverse sources, but still on competitive terms. So I believe the fortunes of the company going forward and our ability to raise capital, given some of the milestones that we'll pass, the strategic project status, getting the mining lease, looking at ways to really expedite the development of Norra Project, because as I touched on, the rare earths component has been studied to pre-feasibility. At mine site, we just have effectively a quarry. And then with having decoupled the downstream for Norra Project, I'm very focused on identifying the right strategic partners who can make the realization of an industrial facility for the midstream downstream process on an industrial site, which should be much easier to permit, a reality.
I appreciate you taking the time to answer our questions. It's really wonderful to hear more about your exciting business developments and operations, and wish you the best of luck at the remainder of this conference.
Thanks very much indeed.
Thank you so much. Thank you.